interview with Janine Preston of Life is a Beach. And of course, life is a beach when you get to do the most amazing things. And one of the things we did today was we went on a canopy tour, but not just any tour. We went on the Drakensberg Canopy Tour. And as you all know, the Drakensberg is just stunning. And this is in the Central Berg, just opposite, I think it's the Drakensberg Gardens Hotel. You can see it actually from the back of the van when they're taking us up. And in front of me, I have Cal. And Cal is the owner of the Drakensberg Canopy Tour. Hi, Cal.
Hi, Janine. How are you doing?
I'm good. Oh, what an amazing trip. Tell me about your journey, because there has to be a journey to where we're sitting today.
Okay, so first of all, just to clarify, not the owner, just the general manager of the Canopy Tours.
Oh, well, I think it's the same thing. You run it like it's yours.
Yeah, no, we do. My wife and I do. We do take it on as our own, yes. Well, our journey started about 6 years ago. About 6 years ago, where we actually started off at the Carcliff Canopy Tour, and we did 4 years at the Carcliff Canopy Tour, and then the Carcliff bought out Drakensberg because Drakensberg was selling at the time and everything. And our managing director got hold of us one evening and said, "We need managers for Drakensberg." So in 3 weeks, we literally packed up our entire house in the Carcliff in the KZN Midlands and moved to Drakensberg and took over here.
But that's amazing, because you know what, it's one of the most beautiful ones we've done. I was asking some of the guys along the way, because the first thing is obviously your safety briefing. Very good safety briefing. I see you've got signs posted everywhere. If you're pregnant, don't do this. If you've got heart problems, don't do this. And it's so true, because you're very high up. Anyone scared of heights would be a bit nervous in the middle. And I know you can get stuck in the middle, and I know your guys can fetch us. That's what I always tell everyone in our group. Don't worry if you get stuck. The guys just zip down next to you. It's got, I think you've got a 10-ton cable. It can carry 10 ton on one side and 6 ton on the other side. I mean, seriously, he can really come and fetch you. And then you know what? You get to enjoy what's below. So have no fear. When you step off that platform into the unknown, you are so well catered for, so well cared for.
My name is Simo. I'll be one of your guides. So I'm going to be your safety guide, and Snake, he's going to be your lead guide. So from here, we'll be driving up on top of the hill, where we're going to take a short walk to reach our first platform. Then we start sliding. Our slide is between 15 meters to 180 meters. We have the second highest canopy tour slide in Africa. It's 65 meters above the river. So you'll be sliding on 12 slides, landing on 14 platforms. You'll be sliding on 2 cables. It's a main cable.
Well, you know, Janine, it's actually nice to hear you as a guest of ours saying that, because actually at the end of the day, the most important thing to us is obviously the safety of not just our guests. Obviously that's our biggest priority, but also our staff as well. You know, safety has to be our utmost priority, and we have to be able to just ensure that no matter what we do, we're always ensuring that our guests, our staff, and anybody who is happening to be on our system is safe. And that starts from the moment they arrive in our base, at the reception, to the drive up to the top of the hill, the walk down to the first platform, where you then go through a little bit of a practical briefing and stuff like that and whatever, but at the same time still being ensured that you are safe at that point. And then from there, the zip lining and stuff as well. So while you're actually on the lines, the different platforms, here at Drakensberg, we've got that little bit of a swing bridge walkway thing.
Oh, that was fun. I must tell you, that was just such a bonus for us. It was like a Christmas gift. Because normally you go from platform to platform. Here we had a bit of a squiggly wiggly walk. I must tell you, you've got a really good sense of humour. There was a bench on the way down. I mean, really, that bench could have been on the way up. There could have been 10 benches on the way up.
No, I hear you. But yeah, you know, and then you go from platform to platform, and your safety is still there, and then you get to the end, and then, as you've just mentioned, now you've got that walkout at the end that, according to you, we need 10 benches on. But yeah, again, that's also about the safety and stuff while you're doing that. Then you get back onto the vehicle and you drive back to the base, and then it's about ensuring that that drive back is safe as well. You know, we want our guests to know that at all times their safety and their ability to do what it is that we do here with them is at our utmost priority. We try not to turn anybody away from here. We have obviously certain issues that we can't get past. So things like you mentioned earlier, ladies that are pregnant, for obvious reasons, we just don't want to put anybody at risk, whether it be the mother-to-be or the child itself. So that's one of the things that stops. Then there are a couple of ailments that don't allow us to, but we try and negate as many of those as possible, obviously within reason and safely and stuff like that. But we try to ensure that at all times, anybody that walks through our door is able to actually do the tour.
But you're talking about walking through the door. One of the things that we brought up some time ago is the possibility of allowing a wheelchair-bound person to do this, because I think, like they swim with the dolphins in Mozambique, I understand the challenges of being down in that forest and the ravine. It's very difficult to have somebody who, there's no way a wheelchair can make it down there. It's just not humanly possible. But would there be in the future some way of allowing them to do 1 or 2 zip lines if it was in an area where they were able to actually reach? Is that something that the Canopy Tour group would look at some point in the future?
Okay, so it's interesting that you asked that question. Here at Drakensberg, it would be quite a challenge, as you would have noticed today,
Very much
the
a
walk
challenge.
down into the valley, and specifically the walk out again. Okay, that would be a big challenge. Now, let's just go back to the car cliff. Okay, we've had paraplegics do the tour. We've actually been able to assist them. We've had blind people do the tour. We've had mentally impaired people do the tour. And these are all things that we were able to do there because of the setup, remembering that each of the 7 branches in the franchise are all set up differently.
Correct, because they're in different areas. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, now the car cliff just lends towards that. Yes, it takes a little bit of work on our side of things, okay, but it is doable, and we've actually been able to do it in the past. We've actually assisted somebody who is wheelchair bound but has little use of their legs, but spends the majority of their time in the wheelchair, where we've actually been able to take them up to a car cliff. So, you know, it's just around actually being able
It's the
to put your
logistics,
heart to it
correct.
and everything else, and saying, you know what, this person would never be able to do something like that. Let's give them a lifetime dream, and let's help them achieve that. And it's about what you put in is what you get out at the end, and the smiles that you get back from these people that would think that they would never, ever, ever be able to do anything like this. And you just put that little bit of extra effort in through the logistics and through the guides, just giving that extra 10 or 20% and taking it up to 120% and everything else, and making it possible. The smile at the end is worth more than...
It's worth $1 million.
It's worth more than that.
Absolutely.
Definitely. It really is. I mean, we've had a couple of occasions where my wife and I have actually been standing at the various different branches, Carcliff and here where we've worked, and we've just been in tears when we've realized and seen how our system and everything else has actually made an impact and changed people's lives.
That's amazing.
It is.
And I must say one thing, you know, no matter where we've been on the franchise, and we've done almost, I see there's one more we haven't done. So every time we think we've done them all, another one pops up. So we're all too happy for that, because that means we've got another one too. Is they always have a sense of humour. So they call it the one slide, the black Ferrari, the red Ferrari, you know. But they say it as if it was the first time, and they say it with the same smile. And I look at them and I think, I'm sure they say this 3 times a day. But you know what? They say it to me like it was their first. And they laugh about it, and we laugh about it. And I just think that is true dedication, because I can put my life in their hands and know that I'm safe.
No,
and I watch their safety procedures, the way that they put our cables on, make sure our harnesses are on, won't let us leave the platform unless the second harness is attached to the second. And they answer all your questions, honestly. I'm always one who asks a lot of questions. So they were quite truthful. This one has 10. This is a 10-ton rope, a cable. This one is 6 tons. This one, don't worry, you can come speeding down. I'll make sure that your safety stop. But you know what? If I tell you to stop, just do me a favor and pull the cable down behind you. Make sure your hands are on the bottom. Very simple instructions, actually.
Yeah.
Nothing difficult.
So we are here, we found Barry's Faith, a young guy from Scotland. So he came here in South Africa for the holidays and tried to climb one of our mountains called Monk's Camp. Unfortunately, he didn't make it. He hooked himself on a loose rope. Then he fell down and died. His friends and parents decided to bury him here with a belief that one day his soul will rise and see the mountain he loved. He died at the early age of 22, 1938. So he has nothing to do about the canopy tour. We're just passing the history of the mountains. So yeah, we're gonna walk down into the first platform. A short walk of 5 minutes.
But very, very gentle, kind people. When we were walking out and they stopped behind us, we were having such a laugh because they just patiently stood there, never kind of did the, just. And for that, I really appreciate them taking care of me.
Well, I'm really, really glad to hear that feedback from you because, at the end of the day, knowing that my staff is doing what they're supposed to be doing is one thing. Knowing that they're taking such good care of my guests and making my guests feel like they made you feel today, that is just the bonus at the end. That's the cherry on the top, is knowing that it's not just doing a good job, it's actually taking care of my guests. And that is important.
I think one of the things most people don't know is that you guys do tandem as well.
Correct.
So if your child is too young, they're happy to do a tandem. And I'd feel much safer if my child was with one of your guides because he does that 3 times a day. And he's been on that thing 3 years in a row. He's got to know that slide. And you know what? I'd much rather whoever my child was went with them than went with me.
Could I be absolutely honest with you?
Yeah.
Okay. More often, we do tandems with adults than with kids.
Really?
Believe it or not.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
No, the kids are versatile. They're nervous in the beginning, especially young kids and stuff. I mean, we've got a young age limit of 6, specifically for maturity-wise and things like that, and everything else, whatever. But your kids might arrive here a little bit nervous, okay? But once they've done the first 1 or 2 lines, that's it. They're gone. They on their way. They're on their merry way. Adults are a little bit more reserved, and it takes them a little bit longer to actually get used to it. And often you find that it'll be the adults on a tour that will want a tandem before the kids do.
My goodness.
In fact, you have parents asking the guides to give their children tandem and the children arguing with their parents that they don't want it. So that's actually quite interesting.
Well, I think it's like when I tandem jumped out of an aeroplane.
Mm-hmm.
That is something I would never do on my own because the safety procedures I would have to remember before I actually left that plane was going to be just too hectic for me for a one-time jump.
Yeah.
But when you're doing a slide, I can see, like my son was quite young when he did his first slide. And I knew he was safe. So even if he got stuck in the middle, it was a case of, don't worry, China, somebody come fetch you. He wouldn't be plummeting to the ravine.
Yeah.
He's simply going to get stuck in the middle. And then he was brave enough and he thought, okay, he'll do a bungee jump. Well, I think that was the last time he ever did something like that again. And when the guy went down to fetch him, I think he clung to that oak so desperately, I think he would have climbed on top of that oak's head to get up back to the top.
I must admit, bungee jump is one of the things I wouldn't do.
No, I'm also not.
I'm an adventurous spirit and
Yeah.
I do all sorts of things, but I don't think I'd do that.
No, and I think that's what ziplining does. It gives us the adventure without the danger.
It gives you that opportunity to push yourself, okay, and realize just what you are capable of without actually, as you say, putting you in danger.
Absolutely.
Without taking you too far, but also at the same time giving you the comfort and the support to know that at any given time there is an option.
Absolutely. And I'm always a bit nervous about spinning in the middle. And we're thinking, what am I going to do when I spin? Because there's one particular one where you go through a tree and a rock. And I was thinking, and if I hit the tree, then I'll hit the rock. Then I'll do all those kind of things. By the time I thought about it, I was through it.
You're stopping at the other side. It's amazing how our minds work.
You're all welcome. So we named this platform a rapid hood. Each name is taken on a fairy tale story of Alice in Wonderland. So these are the 2 cables that you're going to use. It's a main cable and a safety cable. On a main cable, you'll be always connected 2 times like this. It's going to be a pulley along with the pulley connection. Behind the pulley, this yellow thread, we call it a cow chain. If you have kind of got stuck, you don't turn it, you turn around, you pull.
So, and that's the thing between adults and kids as well, is our minds do that. They go through all of that sort of process and stuff like that. Kids just focus on, I want to go. They don't worry about the rock. They don't worry about the tree. They don't worry about all of these kind of things and everything else, whatever. Mom and dad are busy stressing on the platform behind them, watching their kid disappear down the line and everything else. And the kid's going, well, what are you worried about? This is fun. You know, and that's the great thing. And this is one of the things that almost from the moment my wife and I started with Canopy Tours 6 years ago, one of the things that really hit us is that a canopy tour, and I talk now on behalf of all the canopy tours, a canopy tour is an activity that brings families together. You know, pre-COVID and everything else, everybody lived in a rat race. I mean, things have calmed down a little bit now because being locked down and all of that, so things are a little bit different, but pre-COVID, we lived in a rat race. Everything was so fast-paced and on the go and so on and so forth. And my wife and I used to stand on the deck in front of the reception at the Carcliff branch when we were still there, and the parking lot was directly in front of us, and you looked over the parking lot and you'd see a vehicle drive in and a family get out. And dad's on his phone because he's trying to get his last few work messages through, or this, or, you know, whatever the case may be, before he goes on the canopy tour, because he knows he's not going to be able to use his phone. Mom's busy catching up on something or trying to do something. The kids are trying to get their attention and it's just not working and stuff. You can see a disconnect. Then they leave on the tour and there's still the disconnect. Then they get back from the tour and the kids are laughing at dad and dad's laughing along with the kids, and they've forgotten that they've got their phones with them and everything else. And the family, you can actually see that they've reconnected with each other, and you can see that bonding going on. And that is extremely heartwarming, and that is what Canopy Tours can give you.
I think that's amazing. And I've certainly noticed when we've done Canopy Tours, there's always been a complete age. It's from 5 years right through till 95. I mean, the only thing that stops somebody from going on a tour is how, when they have to walk out, is how they're able to walk out. That would, for me, be the only hassle, or the only thing that would stop a very elderly person or frail person from going, is the ability to get out. But if they're able to do one of the tours where the going out is relatively, I think the one in Magaliesberg is a walk out the bottom and the bucky weights at the bottom. Mm-hmm. So that would be a perfect one for a relatively frail person to do.
Well, Carcliff, you literally end up right at the base.
Oh, you do as well. I remember that.
It's like a 100-meter walk from the last platform back to the briefing room where you get unkitted. So you literally end up
right there.
You know,
I remember that.
So that is great in that respect, and everything else, whatever. But just on that note about old and frail and stuff, our record holder here at Drakensberg is 88 years old.
Oh my word!
Okay, with that walkout that you're referring to.
Oh.
Okay, 88 years old. And the franchise record holder is 96.
My goodness, really?
Yep, at Carcliff.
Oh my word, I didn't know that.
96 years old is the franchise.
Good heavens. And do you, just going back to your guides, do you swap them around between franchises to get an experience from different places?
Not normally, no. We do within reason, like between us and Carcliff, it's quite easy. Distance-wise, only about an hour and a half away and stuff like that. So now and then we don't actually swap them out. What we'll do is we'll take a couple of our guides and we'll go up there for a day and we'll let them go and just experience the different system. The nice thing about doing that is it gives them a little bit of a different logical way of looking at things, because the systems are slightly different. It makes them think in a different pattern, which means that when they come back here, their mindset is slightly different to what it was before. And it just helps them realize that there are certain things that are different and certain things
and
that
they can learn from others as well.
Exactly.
Because they learn from the more experienced guys, or they learn from guys who've done this overseas. Is the Canopy Tour unique to South Africa, or do you have them worldwide?
No, Canopy Tours is a South African franchise. It was originally established back in the early 90s when I say established, it was in the 90s when the current owner of the franchise was initially contracted to go over to Costa Rica to go and build the first commercial zip line in Costa Rica. And when he got there, I mean, it was all around scientists and stuff trying to do scientific work in the forests and things like that. And they had to find a way of being able to traverse through the forest so that they didn't have to climb trees, get back down, walk and all of that. And then they realized that there was a fun element to it. And that's where the commercial side of it kicked in. So the owner of the franchise went over to go and build the first commercial zip line in Costa Rica, saw that the concept would be brilliant for South Africa and brought the concept back and started Canopy Tours South Africa.
Okay.
And so Canopy Tours South Africa is a South African. However, one of our branches is in Swaziland. So there's 7 of us in the franchise, 1 in Swaziland, 6 in South Africa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's considered South Africa anyway.
Yeah, I suppose so.
And what's the way forward for Canopy Tours to grow and to just be more amazing?
You know, as things stand at the moment, obviously this COVID thing has hit everybody really badly, and it's really changed a lot of the way of thinking. It's taken quite a bit of the wind out of sails for a lot of businesses, not just for us. And it's also put us in a completely different mindset to where now it's a case of it's not what it used to be, it's what we now have to think about in the future. So there's been, over the last sort of 12 to 16 months, there's been a lot of talk around how do we now get Canopy Tours back on track once we can get things going the way they are. And there's a lot of different ideas and stuff. And one of the biggest things, and this has actually been quite amazing as well, is the emerging black market in South Africa has really taken to adventure sports. One of the things being Canopy Tours. And it's been really great to see, because we're actually seeing more of our locals getting out there and doing things that they normally wouldn't have done before. And it's been brilliant to see this. It really has. They're bringing their entire families with them. So it's not just like it's 1 or 2 people. They're bringing their kids, they're bringing their slightly older folk and stuff like that with them. And it's been really great to see that.
I think one of the nicest things about Canopy Tours is it's outside.
Well,
So you're very fortunate, whereas a 10-pin bowling alley's got a lot more likelihood of the germ spreading than you are outside. Because here you're out in the open, here you're out in the trees. Here, and you've got a requirement for masks, which we all adhere to. And you know what, it's outside. So, you know, one of the things I've also enjoyed about Canopy Tours is I see it as a 40th birthday. I see it as a reason to get together for some kid's 16th, for their 21st. Instead of getting horribly drunk and not remembering anything, why not do a canopy tour?
You talk like that, and that's actually one of the things that we've realized, and it's not just now, it's been over the last couple of years, sort of 3 or 4 years, is we've noticed that a lot of people have started gifting experiences.
Yeah, gifting experience is such a cool thing.
It really is, you know, and we've seen it, and normally it's adults gifting to adults, but the amazing thing that we've noticed is that parents, instead of throwing big parties for their kids, are actually taking their kids and doing experiences. And one of the experiences that they're doing is obviously us Canopy Tours, because we see it often. We have people phoning us and saying to us, listen, it's my kid's 16th birthday, we'd like to bring them there, you know.
I think it's such a cool experience.
How can we make this work and everything else? And we say to them, you know, we try and say to them, listen, don't let the situation or the circumstances and stuff stop you from doing this. You know, what you're doing is a great thing. Gifting an experience rather than a party and all of that kind of thing is. And we actually work with parents around trying to ensure that we make it happen.
Because I think you could do something so beautiful here. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, you could have your cake and your party and whatever. Have your cake and eat it.
Yeah, 100%. In more than one way, yeah.
So tell me a little bit, how do people get hold of you? What's the best way to book?
Okay, so, you know, the easiest thing to do is just go onto our website, www.drakensbergcanopytour.co.za. All our information is on there with regard to our pricings and things like that. At the same time, we have a very simple online booking system that's accessible through our website, so they can just go straight online and they can go and book there. If they're having a little bit of a problem, you get those people that are technically challenged, put it that way, okay, and they do have a bit of a hassle. They are more than welcome to get hold of us via phone, via email, via WhatsApp. Just get hold of us and just say to us, listen,
And I must say, beautiful road. Came from Johannesburg, left home at around about 6:45. We were here by 11 o'clock. We had taken the N3 and then came off at Harrismith and came through Bergville. Cannot believe how many places we flippin'
That back
missed.
road is beautiful.
That Winterton area, the Pig and the Plough, and the chocolate place, and I was, what is wrong with people? We didn't even know they were there. So now we're going to have to come back this way. After our trip, we're definitely going to make a trip back.
No, you need to. There is so much here in the central Drakensberg that people aren't aware of. People know that there's accommodation. They don't know that there's activities. They don't know that there's these little gems. You talk about the chocolate place. There's the Drakensberg Boys Choir just down
the road.
Everybody
I believe
knows
so.
The Drakensberg Boys Choir, and they're literally right here. You've got a little brewery down the road as well, and a cheese factory. So there's little things like that and everything. But at the same time, the Drakensberg just is the Drakensberg. It's beautiful.
No, it's absolutely divine.
It's a World Heritage Site as an entirety and so on. And it's just a place where you can get away, relax, and just breathe some fresh air.
Absolutely. What were the names of the two guys who took us out?
Okay, so your two guides today, their names were Simon, and Sneh.
Just amazing guys, and just really to them, thank you so much, and thank you to you and your team
for
a really amazing experience. I can honestly say that it was one of our and out of all of the tours, we've enjoyed every single one of them. So I was really glad that we got to do. And now I see you've opened another one, so now we're going to have to do that one as well.
Which is the one that you haven't done now?
We haven't done the one in the Cape.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we just saw it. We thought the one in the Cape was Tsikhama, but I see according to your list.
Yeah, no, they are the baby of the franchise. They are the baby of the franchise. They are the most recent. So
I saw it on your map as we arrived. I was like, no, I thought this was going to be the last one. I'm so pleased to see it isn't. So thank you, Cal. Thank you to your team.
Thank you so much for coming out and spending some time with us. It's always great to have people, and it's always great to be able to speak to people that have done a few of the others and just get some feedback from them. Because at the end of the day, it also tells us where we're going and are we heading in the right directions.
Absolutely. And it's definitely adventure without the danger.
Well, I'm glad
if you want to try, do the adventure, and you want to be up high, look down and know that you're just 100%. You've got to do a canopy tour.
Well, I'm so glad to hear you say that. I'm glad to hear that you felt safe and that you really enjoyed it.
No, we did. Thank you so much. I'm Janine, and it's been with Life is a Beach, and I've been with Cal sitting here at the Drakensberg Canopy Tours.